was born in Greenville, South Carolina. Anybody even remote? Oh, she's following me. Yes. We were also at Fort Belvoir, there in Virginia, but she's confirmation. Yes. I was going to travel through that, but since we were already there, I was the music director for the Catholic chaplaincy there on Fort Belvoir Army Post before I picked up and started over at Catholic youth. But I was born in Greenville, South Carolina. My earliest church experiences, I remember about 4. I was sitting in a church, and I heard this all of my young life, the singing that was going on. But when I think back on it, I think about how miraculous it was. There is something in the Protestant church called the devotion. They don't usually do this anymore. But nonetheless, there, as a child, at 4 years old, I began to recognize how beautiful some music was. And then I reflected on it. And don't forget to remind me to speak about Ethiopia. All right? Okay. So if I move on to something else, just say, So we there. If you wanted to know more about it, there's a book by Walter Pitts. It's called The Old Shepherdstown, and the whole book is devoted to the African American devotion. As a matter of fact, I said a whole book, but then when I began to read it when I was in graduate school, I said, it makes all the sense in the world. But let me stop talking so much and go toward your hearing. So if there were 5 of you singing a piece of music, and you were singing it all on your own, and somehow it all merged together, that's the experience. So let me there's a cast of characters in this particular one. The deacon would say something like, I love the Lord, he heard my cry, and pitied every groan. Of course, this was all a cappella. And the whole congregation would say, I love the Lord. He heard my cry. But somebody over there is singing this. I love the Lord. And he heard my cry. Somebody else is singing something else, and it winds up being a blur, a sound. And I enjoyed it so much that every Sunday I would go back to Mountain View Baptist Church, where they sang devotion, and then I went downstairs to play in Sunday school, because I was, at 7, I was playing for the junior choir. And by the way, with the junior choir, in playing for the junior choir, playing for Sunday school, what would happen is that me, 7 years old, somebody would sing, this is the light of mine, I know that it shines. And you have to pick out where it was. Oh, this is the light of mine, I know that it shines. This is the light of mine. it was ear training I learned, so that I could have, if no matter what keys somebody started a song in, I would have to find that key and play it. So already I'm hearing upstairs the devotion and how all these tones are working together. And downstairs, when I go downstairs, I'm having to pick out and learn in every key whatever song somebody decides that they're going to sing as an opening song. And no, they wouldn't wait for me to play it. They would just start singing. But when I'm saying all of this, because I want to bring us to a piece of music. I haven't forgotten Negro yet. A piece of music that I think might capture something that I'm going to speak about Negro later on. wonderful music. Now, I want to place this in the church here. Okay? When we were there at the Franciscan school there in Berkeley, every Lent, we would begin this piece, except that it would be done on an oud in the beginning. And everybody would be singing. And the presider knew that when we finished that oud, he was to stand and everybody would stand as well and singing repeatedly. You ready? Let's do it. Remember that we start singing, and then we stand. I'll sing. Okay. 1 and 2 and just on oud. That entered us into the Eucharistic celebration. And I need to do this now because I'll forget it. There's the music. You can see that I was bringing what I had learned as a child in the Protestant church to the Catholic church. And yes, I am Catholic now, as well. But I'm so happy, so very happy for my Protestant background. Let me tell you, it's a good and wonderful thing, especially musically, but also religiously. Remembering that if you were to try to change something in a liturgy at a Baptist church or a Methodist church or whatever it is, you would have a hard time. Because these people have a way of going about their service and they don't care for any changes whatsoever. So don't ever think that there's not a liturgy involved in the Protestant churches. Yes, there is, and especially the Episcopal church that are so very much. And the Lutheran church is going but in the Black Baptist church, liturgy. That's where I learned it. In the A&B Zion Church, liturgy, that's where I learned it. In the United Methodist Church, liturgy, that's where I learned it as well. Now, just going from there, looking at that background, and talking about how music traveled from Ethiopia all the way across to West Africa, onto the Caribbean and the United States. Out of that, its last name is Moringa, decided that there was a need for an African American sensibility, an African American sense of unity. And what happened was these colors came about. So the red, the black, the green, the red standing for the blood that was shed, both on the land in Africa, but also the many thousands and thousands who died during the Middle Passage, either because they simply refused to go and somehow were able to dash themselves into the sea, or they got sick and they were thrown into the sea, or they died in the pits and they were thrown into the sea as well. Whatever it was not a good situation. But this is that red, it denotes all of that. And the black is for those people. Now we call them black, before they were Negroes as well, or colored as well. Now we say black as the 60s. And the green is the color of hope. It's the color of hope that we always hope, and these came about in the early 60s, these colors. The hope that we had that it could be better in our country. Not just for ourselves, even though we really needed it, but also for everyone. Because if we were doing well, everyone else was doing well as well. That's what we always wanted to keep in mind. So I want you to think of the wonderful legacy that's traveled with us and gifted to this country. Because as you well know, the very first, the only American music at this point in our lives in the United States is jazz. It came out of, all the music, the spirituals, and then came the blues and the jazz and all those things. And I hope that, yes, I was able to play Chopin and Beethoven, or as my friends say, Beethoven. Yes, I do. And Bach as well. But I tell people I did not go to school to learn how to play Thomas Dorsey or the great other singer and pianist James Cooper. Those were things that I learned in the Black Baptist Church. And as a musician, these things were expected of me as well. But I want you to look under your seats, and I believe the page is 509. We've come this far by faith. Five or six? Okay. Great. We're going to sing this piece of music. And I was 9 years old when this piece of music came out. It came out in 1956. And I remember the choir that sang it, as a matter of fact. The church was very enthusiastic about it. And you could look down and see who wrote it and that kind of thing. But this song has traveled with me over all the years. Now, when you begin to look at it, and that page was what now? 506? No one ever sees it the same way. So that when we have, we come this far by faith, lean on the Lord. No, that's not a performance practice. The performance practice is, we come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord. And then goes into a third relation, Lord, trusting in His holy word. But we're going to sing that, and I really want you to sing it as well. How many people have sung this before or heard it before? Oh, good. That means that most of you have not. Excellent. Excellent. We can start from scratch. It's a good thing. And you will hear some improvisation going on. And I would not sing this verse because it's not the original verse. So I'm going to sing it, all right? And that's a good thing. But when we come to the verse we're going to sing, I'm going to sing that verse. So, and I think I will play it in the key that you can. done because we sometimes don't want the song to end. So we just repeat the last part, much like a laser already. We simply don't want it to end because it's so good and it's moved us into a wonderful space as well. In that piece that Mr. Goodson wrote, you heard 18th century harmony, yes. I added some jazz things as well, but also there was a call and response happening as well. So you know that when you hear a solo is singing in front of a choir and they're singing, or he or she is singing this, that, and the choir is backing them up, that's called call and response. And I think that we should probably do another call and response. And I'm trying to think of the one that I'm doing or something. Just to be contented.
this morning at church, I noticed that there were a group of people who were standing and they were swaying from side to side, but they were also singing and they were also clapping. That takes a lot of coordination, by the way. I'm not going to ask you to sway or stand until the next time I come. And then Elaine will have taken you through all through the exercises and we'll go from there. But I want to go to another piece of music. We're talking about transformation. Yes, it's improvised, but it also comes from within as well. And I'm going to sing a song that I'm going to ask you not to sing on because it's so familiar. It's so familiar. But I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to talk about the tenets of African American spirituality. Just 3 of them. There are actually 5 of them, but I'm going to talk about 3 of them. One is joyous. Joyous. Usually we don't think of blues as being joyous. But if you notice that the person might start off a certain way, excuse me, Jesus. I'm going down the river, and I'm never gonna come back. I'm going down to the river, and I'm never going back. I want to say this. My baby never left me, and all I can do is cry. Now, he or she may have started off like that, but by the time the song comes toward the end, I'm going down and I'm never coming back. Yeah, yeah. I'm going down and I'm never coming back. Even though I've been home, I'm never going back. So you can see the person has had a catharsis. They started here, but they ended up here. In other words, their joy came through, or the sense of joy, the sense that life is vital and that life is going to go on no matter what is going on in your life. That's a tenet of African American spirituality. And the other is contemplative. And that might be confusing to you because usually we think of contemplation as being done in a rather formal setting, or you think of today and all the people that are gathered around the cross and they're singing and sometimes praying and sometimes singing as well. For us, contemplation can happen at any point in time because God is always with us. We can be in the grocery store and have an experience of God. Something will come to you. Something will come to you that God has done for you or going someone else, and wow, it's just amazing. Story. I was in New Orleans at the Institute for Black African Studies that I've been a part of since about 1991. I did liturgy and music for that gathering. And I thought we'd get something for one of the celebrations that we were doing on Sunday morning. And on Sunday morning in New Orleans, they have this gospel station. And I was driving along, and this song comes on. I had not heard this song since I was a child. And the song was, the text was really something, because it was also part of our religion experience this morning at church. And the name of the song is Come On In My Room. Come On In My Room, as a matter of fact. Listen to it, because remember I'm driving. Why don't you come on in my room? Come on in my room, where the Lord Jesus is my doctor, and He writes up all my prescriptions, and He gives me all my medicine in my room. Oh, why don't you come on in my room? Come on in my room, where the Lord Jesus is my doctor, and He writes all my prescriptions, and He gives me all my medicine in my room. Oh, well, I had to stop the car and pull over to the side, because that was a song that touched me in such a way that I could not drive. I needed to just stay with that song and hear it through to the end and praise God that I heard it. Because I had heard it, as I said, in years since I was a child. So, we used it at our church on Ash Wednesday. You know that wonderful readings that tells you where to go when you pray and wash your face and all that kind of stuff? You go into your secret closet and pray and fasting, where the Lord Jesus is your doctor. And He will write up in you one of your prescriptions. And He'll give you all the medicine. Understandable by the law, by the show. So, now mind you, that came from a song probably written in 1940. And it certainly didn't come out of the Catholic Church as well. But because it's based on Scripture, we can use it. And so contemplation, as I was mentioning, can happen any place and any time. Any place, any time. The other tenet is community. I was speaking to the congregation this morning about this because I'm having a year of the assembly. There are no choirs. There may be a cantor, but it's the congregation who are the primary witnesses of the faith. And so I used COVID as a way of enticing the congregation to sing more and to not be reliant upon someone singing for them, namely the choir. Now, mind you, I've only been at this church for a little while, and used to tell people, Father Clarence Fisher used to tell people, if God gave you a bad voice, give it back to God. It's God who deserves it. But everyone can sing. You may not enjoy it, but everyone can sing. And therefore, we want to hear that human, joyful voice praising God. It's important. It's an important witness to everyone around you. As a matter of fact, what's so wonderful about this space is that it's antiphonal, meaning that you're looking at the joyous faces on this side, and they're looking back at you. If you are enjoying, if you are entranced, if you are what do we call it? If you are enthusiastic, they're going to see that. But also you're going to see it in them. And that's what we mean about the communitarian way of being community. There was and forgive me, I want to speak about Queen Elizabeth. Okay, just for a moment here, I know that she was passed on. But when I saw a cartoon about 10 years ago, it's always been in front of my mind when I'm talking to congregations. And there were 3 slots. Each one was her face. And it said, Queen Elizabeth, enthusiastic. Queen Elizabeth, being joyful. Queen Elizabeth, excited. Thank God none of us had it was a wonderful life and long lived, but what she had to endure to keep the royal dynasty and what they felt about how a queen should be and act and all these things like that. You would not have wanted that. You would come back to America just screaming and say, take me back home. So I expressed to the, as I always do to the congregation and as I did this morning, people watching you, we don't know who's sitting in that book. We don't know what they bring with them, what weight they have on their shoulders, what's going on in their families, what's happened the day before, or happened last week, or even 5 years ago, which has made a major impact upon their lives. And so therefore, I have an adage, and the adage is that we will reach perfection in heaven, but we can stand some excellence here on earth when it comes to ministry. You know that you can make an A with 97, right? Yeah, you don't have to be perfect. Oh, absolutely not. Not at all. No human being is. But nonetheless, in ministry, the proclamation of the words should enter your hearts. Or sometimes I say, fly off the page into your hearts and minds. The word, and just being a Eucharistic minister. When you say the body of Christ, it's how you say it to that person. And you might even look in their eye. I'm not telling you to look in anybody's eyes. But you might just happen to look in their eyes, and you may need that at that time. The person who is hospitality as well, where I was welcomed so wonderfully this evening. I want to come back and drive those 81 miles from Austin Hill to St. Agnes every Sunday. It's just a good and wonderful thing. Now I'm coming to that piece of music where we've been singing it for time immemorial, and it is a piece that I have always loved 439. Okay. Oh no, you don't have to sing or anything. No. Remember, I asked you not to sing? But listen, listen. But at some point, I'm going to bring you in. Okay? And you will know the piece of music. Can I say 439? Yeah. Call that person. Close those doors. Close them right now. Right now. Because I don't want you watching those words. No. Remember, the words should come off the page into your hearts. That's what we want. And you know when I sit and when I stand, your hand is upon me, protecting me from death, keeping me from harm. Oh, where can I run from your arms? If I climb to the heavens, you are there. If I fly to the sunrise, or sail beyond the sea, you will still be there. To me,
might have to you, or requests that you might want to hear that I might know. What do you think? Question? To become involved in the church groups? That was from my entry into the Catholic Church. I wasn't Catholic, but there was a little lady. She's about this tall, but she stands 8 feet tall. If you know what I mean. She came to me one day and she said, Father Lowell, Father Lowell, over at St. Vincent for Catholic Church, needs someone to come over and play music at his church, so I want you to go. Okay. Her name was Shirley May K. Berkeley. And of course, when Shirley May K. Berkeley asked you to play, well, of course, you have to go because she is the queen of gospel music in Washington, D.C. And so I went over. There, I met Father Lowell, and what I didn't know was that this was the very first gospel choir in Washington, D.C. Back in 1971 they started. I met them in 1972. And remember what I was saying on my first Sunday? This was the song. Somebody may have heard this. Jesus is the answer for the world today. Above him there's no other. Jesus is the way. Jesus is the answer for the world today. Oh, above him there's no other. Jesus is the way. The one and only Jesus is the way. Now, mind you, I'm in a church where there's a sea of black people, at least 400. And I'm playing the piano, and the choirs at that time processed in. And once the choir got in, I just had to look over the congregation. Remember Queen Elizabeth? I said, what in the world have I done myself into? Who are these people? They are not a group of people that I know. So, I typed it out for several months, and then Father Lowell came to me and said, you know, I'm going to come to your rehearsal. Your rehearsals every rehearsal night. By the way, our rehearsal was on Saturday nights at 7:30. From 7:30 to 9. And Father Lowell would be at every one. And then he said, you know, I'm going to, I think we should need some catechesis. So every Wednesday afternoon after school, I would go over to the rectory and have a private catechist lesson. But it was the following year that made such a difference in my life in 1973 when I met my mentor, Father Clarence Joseph Rivers. If you know anything about him, he was the one who wrote the wonderful song, God is love, and you who abide in love, abide in God, and God in you. Now, it doesn't sound like much today, but back in 1964, when they presented it at the liturgical conference there in St. Louis, over 10,000 people, they had to sing that song over and over and over. And even after Mass, they had to come back and sing that song, and they did it for about 2 minutes. It was just a hit in people's hearts. But remember, in 1964, the Catholic Church didn't possess a whole lot of music. And much of the music had to be written. And so when I met him in 1973, he said, I want home, come and play for me in Columbus, Georgia. It's 2 days from now. What? I work. But all we had to do was go and tell Sister Mary Charlotte Marshall that we wanted him to come. And Sister Mary Charlotte Marshall said, well, of course, he's going. You're going to send him a ticket, aren't you? Of course. This was every time. And I'm getting to your point, your question. Father Rivers would sit me down before every celebration that we did, whatever town we were in or city that we were in, and he would work through meticulously that script. And even if it was the same script, the architecture of the church would be different. And so therefore, that would mean that the ministers had a different movement, or the restoration of the way things sounded in the church. So you change the piece of music, perhaps because it just wasn't going to work, rehearsal didn't go well as well. But I'm absorbing all this. Now, mind you, I already have a degree in music, but I began to tie things together and wonder, why do these people know how to do lessons so not knowing that everything was just beginning? It was just beginning. So of course they did not know. It was always done for them. So therefore, I got very interested in liturgy. And then later on, music for the liturgy as well. So that took me from Washington, D.C., at Catholic University, and with esteemed Dr. Rainier over at Georgetown, which I learned a tremendous amount. And who were those wonderful August people that we worked with there? There was Father Walter Clark and Father Raymond King. Yeah, and Jim Dunning, who was over the catechumen for the forum for the catechumen of ours as well. But all of these people were people who Elaine worked with and introduced me to, and I learned so very much. I have another story. Jim Dunning was the person who was over the forum for the catechumen, and I just happened to be in Georgetown when they were going through and talking about beginnings and the young, and what they were going to do here, and also looking at what was going on as far as the ritual for those who are rituals of initiation. And of course, I'm doing this and I'm reading the book as well. Now, mind you, I am not Catholic at this point. But one day in 1985, I'm working at Catholic University of America as the liturgical musician for the campus ministry. Wow. The priest came to me and said, no, I don't have any money to do, because there are few students who want to become Catholic, but I don't have any money to do their pieces for them, or take them through the rituals as well, or to explain to them what's going to happen over a period of time. This is now September, and May, we're going to be brought into the church in April. And so I said, well, after all, Jim Dunning, Walter Burkhart, all those wonderful names, Dr. Lehman, all fell into me. So of course I did do it, and we did. 3 days before the Easter Vigil. Oh, who was
the Archbishop? His name starts with an H. Hickey, yes. Now, Archbishop Hickey knew me from things that I had done around the diocese, but he also heard that I was a leader for RCIA. He said, "He's not Catholic." This was what my priest boss heard, and he came all the way across campus to me and said, pointed at me and said, "You're going to be confirmed tomorrow." So that's what happened. I was confirmed, and there were all these wonderful people who were there. If I were to call out their names, this would have dropped in as a matter of fact. Not for this occasion anyway. But it was a very, very lovely gathering of about 8 people in Living Hall, and it was a good thing. But I didn't have time to rest. We had to go to have mass at 5 o'clock in the evening. I couldn't kind of just say that I need to rest on this. As a matter of fact, I left Father Dr. David Howard was the presider for this. I said I was going to drop names, but nonetheless. He bathed me in oil. And no, I didn't have another shirt. So I just said, well, fine. I heard about being bathed in oil, and except for my hands, because I needed on the keyboard, I would just brush it off, wipe it off, and go on and play with oil all over my shirt and my face as well. But it was a wonderful thing. I was almost afraid to wash it off. And it was also, it smelled good as well. So that's how I became interested in liturgical music, and but never had time. I worked 7 days a week. I never had time, the amount of time that one needs to sit and just work with notes on paper, or with harmonies, or with text. I would do them, but the pieces would be in my head. Now that I have retired, I have done more publishing now than over the last 20 years. Say these words, please. My soul is thirsty. My soul is thirsty. My soul is thirsty for you, O Lord my God. My soul is thirsty for you, O Lord my God. You, O Lord my God. Go. You, O Lord my God. So, this was written for that project. This is one of 2 books. The one that I had to work so hard on early in the morning. Songs from the Soul is the name of it. Thank you. Listen to it, my soul is thirsty. My soul is thirsty. Oh, my soul And I'd like to play one more for you. And I think you will like this. This is for Easter. Easter Sunday. I think that's a good song. Yes, it is. Page number. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. You know those words, don't you? Yes, yes, yes.
It goes. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Now, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And this is written in such a way that it's much like the devotional song that I sang earlier in the beginning. The hymn sings, "Give thanks to the Lord, for the Lord is good, for his mercy endures forever. Let the house of Israel say, his mercy endures forever." You sing, "This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day
His help is near for those who fear him, and his glory